Here we are with Bedtime Stories. Lisa and Sebastian and Evangeline. And we're reading Thomas, the Really Useful Engine. We're going to be famous. That's the thing, we're going to be famous. Thomas, the Really Useful Engine. Thomas was a little blue tank engine who lived on the Isle of Sodor. He was a really useful engine who had his very own branch line. He had 2 coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. "Hurry, hurry," they would say to Thomas as he pulled them through the countryside. Those are pretty pictures. Let me show the pictures to the people watching. Thomas had many friends, many engine friends. Gordon and Henry were big. Which ones do you think are them? Yes, I think you're right. Edward and Percy were small. And James was somewhere in between. Yeah. Sir Topham Hatt was the director of the railway. He was fond of all the engines, even though they sometimes made trouble for him. There's Sir Topham Hatt. Oh, no. This one is Sir Topham Hatt. Yeah. One day, there was a terrible storm. Thunder rolled and lightning flashed, and rain fell heavily all over the island. A fierce wind rocked the boats in the harbor and knocked down trees in the forest. Oh, no. Oh, my. That looks like a big storm. And lightning.
And thunder.
And thunder. It says thunder. Lightning and thunder. Oh, look at those faces. The engines sat in their shed at the station, looking out at the storm. Henry, the green engine, did not like storms. He closed his eyes and hoped it would end soon. Which one do you think is Henry? Yeah, because his eyes are closed. Suddenly, a strong wind blew, and a tree, a tall tree, fell onto the station house's roof. Crash! Look at that. "Oh dear," said Henry with a shudder. What's a shudder? A shudder is like a shake. He was so scared, he shook with a shudder.
That's why you never should live near a tree.
No trees?
Far away, no.
Yeah. You had that tree that you had to have taken down in your yard. Yeah, so it wouldn't fall. Like that. Falling on the house.
Well, it's not because it's going to fall. It's because it's dead.
It was dead, but when they're dead, sometimes they fall.
Yeah, because they get like moldy and then they just fall down so easy.
Yeah.
Even without the lightning or thunder.
Exactly. Yep. Maybe just some wind. Sir Topham Hatt came at once to inspect the damage. Luckily, no one was hurt. "This roof must be repaired as soon as possible," Sir Topham Hatt announced. He put Gordon, the big express engine, in charge. Gordon was quite pleased. "After all," he boasted, "I am the biggest, the fastest, and the strongest." This one. Yep. Evangeline sneaks around the corner and Sebastian hides. Come back up. Come back up. James, the red engine, was annoyed. He wished that he were the one in charge. "I'm the one who's used to pulling freight cars," he grumbled. He looks grumpy. "Off you go then," Gordon ordered James. "Fetch us some lumber and bricks and new slate for the roof." The rain started again. It began falling into the station house because now there's a hole in the roof. The train crew set out buckets so people waiting for the trains wouldn't get wet. Oh, she's knitting. Just like I knitted sweaters for people I know.
She's sewing, looks like.
She's what?
She's sewing.
Sewing.
Yeah, sewing.
Yeah, she's knitting, like with yarn. Like I knitted your sweater.
I need you in there.
Not shy at all. Everyone waited for James to return. The roof continued to leak, so the station master invited passengers to use his parlor as a waiting room. Maybe over here. Henry and Percy, go see what's taking James so long, Gordon ordered. Percy, the small engine, was eager to go, but Henry puffed off slowly. He did not like getting wet at all.
Where's Thomas the train?
I don't know. We haven't seen Thomas, have we? Maybe he will be the one that saves the day.
Every time a good guy.
Yeah.
Every time a character you know always saves the day.
Thomas is a good guy.
There's Thomas.
There's Thomas. Wait, is that Thomas?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Here, honey. Careful. Oh. Cheetah. The animals are falling off.
This is your pillow, Grandma.
So everyone waited for Henry, James, and Percy to return. Sir Topham Hatt was busy checking the railway. All the train lines cleared for travel? He asked the station master. Thomas was getting worried. Look how worried he is.
Like,
Maybe the other chains were stuck somewhere. Good thing your knee is there. We've got to help, Thomas said to his driver. The driver nodded. Well, you do know your way around the island, he admitted to Thomas. Let's go. Full of steam, Thomas puffed out of the yard and down the tracks. Beep, beep, he whistled. Oh, he has such a happy face, doesn't he? Thomas is the hero.
Thomas is the knucklehead.
Oh, stop. Knucklehead. Gordon wanted lumber, so James must have gone to get some, said Thomas. First stop, the forest, the driver said. Uh-oh. When they arrived in the forest, they didn't see James, but there was Henry, who had run out of steam. And was broken down. I knew I shouldn't have gone out in this frightful weather, he said, coughing. He is so grumpy.
Are you doing that?
I like it too.
That made me funny.
Thomas's driver helped Henry's driver call for assistance. That's a good idea. Then Thomas continued on his way. He was worried about Percy and James. Beep, beep, he whistled, puffing along. Gordon also wanted bricks, he remembered. Next stop, the clay pits, he said to his driver. Off to the clay pits to see if they can find somebody that's stuck. Do you think somebody's stuck there? Maybe.
Yes.
When they arrived at the clay pits, they didn't see James, but Percy was there, stuck behind a large tree that had fallen across the tracks. Well, that would do it. I'm just too little, cried Percy. Even Gordon wouldn't be able to cross that, Thomas said kindly. His driver called for a breakdown train to help clear Percy's rails. Then Thomas continued on his way. He was still worried about James. Where is James? Did you go to the library? Beep, beep. Gordon also wanted slate. Thomas said to his driver. Next stop, the quarry, said the driver. When they got to the quarry...
Look, that's the little train we have.
Oh, yeah, we do. You're right.
We have the train too.
Yes.
But it's different.
Yes. Doesn't have that face. Has a happy face.
Mm-hmm.
Next stop, the quarry, said the driver. When they got to the quarry, who should they spot but James? He was lying in mud on the side of the tracks. Oh, no, James groaned. Those horrible freight cars are nothing but trouble. They pushed me right off the rails. Then they ran away. Oh, no. That's not very nice. That's not nice at all.
What?
No, all of Thomas's friends should be nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rain had stopped by now, and Thomas heard a whir from above. This was his pal, Harold, the helicopter flying overhead. I've spotted James's freight cars, Harold called.
Why is the train going through the mud?
Well, he said that some other trains pushed him off the tracks.
Mm.
I've spotted James' freight cars, Harold called. They're down at the harbor, because he's a helicopter. He can see from the sky. Then Thomas heard another sound. Poop, poop. Gordon was steaming around the bend. I'll help, James, Gordon said to Thomas. You go get those freight cars. Oh, they're the freight cars. Beep, beep. Thomas headed for the harbor as quickly as he could. He heard the naughty freight cars before he even saw them. He heard them. Loaded with goods and laughing loudly, they were pushing and bumping one another. Come along at once, Thomas called sternly to them. Sounds like they are the troublemakers, aren't they? The freight cars stopped laughing when they heard Thomas. We were just having fun, they said, sulkily. There's a job to be done, and you're making everyone wait, Thomas said. He made the freight cars get in line and pulled them up from the harbor. Wow, that's a lot of work, pulling all those freight cars, isn't it?
I thought Thomas was supposed to be weak.
Why?
Because he looks small.
Oh, he is kind of small compared to some of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the book is called The Really Useful Engine.
Mm.
All the engines steamed back to the station. First came Henry, then Percy, then Gordon. Next came James, pulling the naughty freight cars who had caused so much trouble. The freight cars grumbled and mumbled as they carried the lumber, bricks, and slate. Thomas puffed along proudly at the back of the group, and Harold the helicopter flew above them all. Looks like all's well that ends well. All's well that ends well.
Hey, Thomas is the loser.
Everyone was happy to see the missing engines, but there was no time to waste. The station still had to be repaired. Oh, I forgot all about that. The train station has a hole in the roof. Everyone pitched in and put up new beams and made strong timber from the forest. Well, that's a good idea. Crumbling bricks were replaced with new ones and out of clay from the clay pits. Oh, that's a good idea. And the roof was patched with new pieces of slate from the quarry. Soon, the station house looked as good as new. We must have a grand gala to celebrate, announced Sir Topham Hatt. The conductors and engineers hung up banners and bunting. Even the engines looked festive. The station master passed around tea and cookies in the waiting room. "Congratulations to all on a job well done," said Sir Topham Hatt. "3 cheers for Thomas! Hip, hip, hooray!" everyone called. "Thomas, you really are a useful engine." "Yay, Thomas! 3 cheers for Thomas! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip,
Hippie,
hooray!"
hippie, 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 hippie.
Now, every night when I read the bedtime stories for the church, we say a bedtime prayer. So can you hold your hands with me and I'll say a bedtime prayer? "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Guide me gently through the night and wake me with the morning light. Amen." Well, I hope you sleep well. Give Grandma a kiss. Mwah. Mwah. Say bye-bye to our TV land.
Bye-bye, mister.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.